Hey everyone, Mr. Binder here. The first topic of Chapter 1 that we will be discussing is functional groups. What are functional groups and how to identify them? More importantly, on the biological molecules that you see here. The biological molecules and functional groups are going to be made out of these sponge elements. You need to identify yourself with them, so sulfur, phosphorus, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, and hydrogen. And together you'll see different arrangements of these elements that make up not only the functional groups, but the functional groups that are found on these biological molecules. Carbon. Carbon is very, very important. It is the backbone or the structure of every organic molecule. And the reason why is because it could form 4 covalent bonds, single, double, or triple, a variety of arrangements. Also, carbon can form hydrocarbons. Long chains, ring structure, okay, branched or linear. Again, when carbons attach to each other, this is known as catenation. And you'll see that the other sponge elements, again, sulfur, phosphorus, oxygen, nitrogen, and hydrogen, they will all be bonded with carbon. Again, carbon forms 4 bonds. These are all of the different structures that you might see as we do discuss functional groups and when we do start taking a look at the macromolecules. Again, carbon bonds well with hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, and oxygen. Carbon and hydrogen are the 2 most important elements that make up organic molecules. So what we're taking a look at now is, or when we do discuss these macromolecules, they are organic compounds. We are made up of organic compounds, which is mostly made up of carbon and hydrogen. Again, when you take a look at the macromolecules, the list we see here are carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids, and lipids. The functional groups that I'd like you to identify yourself with are in the list here, you see to the right. And I'd like you to become familiar with not only their structural formula, but the class of compounds. Again, these functional groups are found on all 4 of the biologically important macromolecules, which we will be discussing later on, your proteins, carbs, lipids, and nucleic acids. And these functional groups serve as small reactive groups. And again, they will participate in chemical reactions. And not only that, the functional groups found on these macromolecules, they are what provide that molecule with specific characteristics. For instance, melting point and boiling point. These functional groups are usually ionic or polar. And again, it's because of this polarity between the functional group found on these molecules that allow for the participation or initiation of chemical reactions. And again, when these functional groups combine to form a specific bond, which you will have to identify 4 of them with the macromolecules, again, different bonding can occur between different elements. So you can have a carbon bonding with an oxygen. Again, you can have an oxygen bonding with another oxygen. These are some things that we'll take a look at when we do discuss the macromolecules.